The gavel struck the oak bench with a force that rattled the water pitchers, sending tremors across the courtroom. Gasps echoed as reporters froze mid-word, pens suspended in the air. "Objection!" a lawyer shouted, voice cracking with urgency. On the witness stand, a trembling voice spilled secrets too raw for the room to absorb. Jurors gripped armrests, knuckles white, as a coffee cup toppled, dark liquid spreading across polished tiles. Every heartbeat seemed amplified, every breath drawn with hesitation. The defendant's eyes darted across the courtroom, desperation mixing with disbelief. "This isn't real," they whispered under their breath, voice almost swallowed by the murmurs. Cameras clicked relentlessly, immortalizing every flicker of fear. The public gallery leaned forward, anticipation heavy in the air. Silence stretched, broken only by the judge's sharp intake of breath. Every observer knew, from the first strike of the gavel, that lives were about to be irrevocably altered. Alex Reynolds sat frozen, mind racing faster than any heartbeat could keep pace. Every murmur, every cough, felt amplified, as if the room conspired against him. He could see the questions forming in the jury's eyes, unspoken accusations hanging in the air. The defense attorney whispered hurriedly, "Stay calm, answer truthfully." He nodded, though doubt clawed at every thought. Memories flashed, his life before the courtroom, moments now seeming impossibly distant. The prosecutor smirked, eyes sharp, waiting for him to falter. He swallowed hard, choosing words carefully, feeling the weight of every sentence. Outside, cameras panned, capturing the smallest twitch of emotion, ready to broadcast it across the city. The air felt heavy, charged, every glance threatening to unravel the fragile balance of his composure. He leaned back, shoulders tense, aware that a single misstep could change everything. This was no longer just a case. It was survival, public perception, and the life he had built teetering on a knife's edge. The first witness took the stand, voice steady, but eyes betraying nerves. "I saw everything," they said, though doubt lingered in their tone. Alex felt a jolt of panic. The details were distorted, selective, and yet persuasive. His attorney leaned close, whispering strategy under breath, but the words barely registered. He forced himself to nod at the right moments, lips pressed tight, hoping his silence wouldn't betray him. Each question felt like a trap. The witness testimony twisted memories into unfamiliar shapes. The gallery murmured softly, anticipation thickening the air. He noticed subtle shifts, the prosecutor's satisfied smirk, a juror's raised eyebrow, the clerk scribbling notes frantically. Every second stretched, the courtroom a pressure cooker of perception and deceit. Alex gripped the edge of the table, mind racing for clarity amidst the storm of accusations. He realized this trial wasn't just about proving innocence. It was about surviving scrutiny from every angle, every human judgment, every hidden agenda. A juror shifted uneasily, whispering something to a neighbor, but words were lost in the tension. Alex caught fragments, twisting them into imagined accusations, each more damning than the last. His heartbeat echoed, ears ringing with imagined judgment. The judge's gavel cut through the haze, demanding attention, reminding him that reality was still in motion. His attorney's quiet nod anchored him briefly, yet the room seemed to close around him. Each passing second layered additional pressure, courtroom walls feeling closer, air thicker. Cameras focused relentlessly, flashes igniting shadows, recording every twitch. He dared not look at the gallery for too long. Eyes everywhere, judging, analyzing, condemning. Even the silent breaths of the clerks felt intrusive. He took a shallow breath, forcing calm, reminding himself he was trained for adversity. But the surreal weight of the moment, the living spectacle of judgment, left him teetering on the edge of panic, suspended between hope and despair. The courtroom felt like a cage, walls closing, air thick with unspoken verdicts. Alex's attorney whispered last-minute instructions, voice calm, measured, anchoring him briefly. The judge's eyes narrowed, scanning faces, waiting for decorum. Reporters clicked pens furiously, cameras tracking every flicker of emotion. Alex felt weight pressing on shoulders, the sum of every gaze, every whispered suspicion, every subtle accusation. He remembered the life outside these walls, the morning coffee, the laughter, the mundane, but it seemed impossibly distant. A single word could unravel everything. A single pause could betray the doubt simmering inside. He straightened slightly, inhaling deeply, trying to reclaim composure. Every nerve screamed caution. Every sense screamed danger. He had to survive this first hour intact, before the chaos fully consumed him. And he knew, deep down, that nothing would ever feel safe the same way again. The courtroom buzzed with anticipation as the next witness approached. Every footstep against the polished floor echoed like a drumbeat. Alex's gaze followed, tension coiling in his chest like steel springs. The witness' eyes darted nervously across the room, lips pressed tightly, gripping a thin folder as if it contained the weight of the world. Murmurs cascaded through the audience, some whispered, others sharp enough to punctuate the silence. The defense attorney leaned forward, whispering reminders, but Alex barely registered the words. His mind raced, spinning scenarios of how the testimony could twist, refract, and devastate his case. The judge's eyes sharpened, demanding focus, control, respect. Every second seemed to stretch unnaturally, each heartbeat an unwelcome drum in the background. Cameras clicked, flashes punctuating expressions of disbelief, anxiety, and silent judgment. Alex shifted, trying to ground himself, aware that the outcome of this moment could tip the fragile scales irrevocably. The witness inhaled sharply, voice trembling yet precise, beginning a recount that would ripple through the room with consequences unseen, but felt in every tense posture. Daniel Price cleared his throat and began to speak, recounting moments that Alex struggled to recall. Every word felt deliberate, weighted, a precise scalpel carving doubts into the minds of jurors. Alex's pulse quickened. Each pause in the testimony felt like an eternity, a potential trap. The defense attorney whispered corrections, but Alex hesitated, knowing even small mistakes could be seized and twisted. In the gallery, spectators leaned forward, eyes glimmering with curiosity, some with quiet judgment. The judge's gaze pierced the room, maintaining silence while demanding attention. Alex's thoughts flickered to his family, his life outside these walls, but reality slammed back with the relentless cadence of the witness speech. He clenched his fists on the table, nails biting into palms, grounding himself against the storm of words. Time slowed, each breath measured, each glance calculated, as though the walls themselves watched him, waiting for any crack to form in his composure. Every witness account now threatened to unravel the delicate balance, exposing truth, lies, and hidden intentions. Alex could feel the room tightening around him as details emerged, some distorted, some painfully precise. Every murmur of agreement or doubt from the jury sounded amplified in his mind. His attorney leaned closer, voice calm but urgent. "Focus on what you remember, stay steady." He tried, lips pursed, eyes scanning the courtroom. The gallery seemed to lean closer, pressing in, waiting for the inevitable misstep. Daniel Price's testimony wound through events Alex wished he could forget, every phrase a blade of scrutiny. He forced himself to breathe slowly, ignoring the sudden sting of panic rising in his chest. The prosecutor smirked subtly, eyes flicking to each juror as if choreographing reactions. Alex's world had shrunk to the size of the table, the witness, and the jury, each a magnified threat to his survival. Every second stretched a silent countdown to potential disaster, the weight of public scrutiny pressing relentlessly. Even the faint click of a camera shutter felt like an accusation. Alex realized that composure wasn't enough. He had to become a mirror, reflecting patience, strength, and truth, even when fear threatened to consume him entirely. A sudden shift in testimony made Alex's stomach tighten. Daniel mentioned details Alex didn't expect, the kind that could tip perception instantly. The gallery leaned forward, whispers rippled like currents. The defense attorney's voice was urgent, yet low, as if the words themselves could alter fate. "Stay calm. Don't react." Alex inhaled slowly, forcing rationality over panic. Yet his mind spun scenarios, each bleaker than the last. The judge's eyes swept over the courtroom, sharp and unyielding, demanding order and attention. Cameras clicked incessantly, flashes briefly illuminating shocked faces. Alex felt the walls closing further, as if the room had become a living entity, measuring fear, patience, and resolve. He tried to focus on the facts he remembered, yet doubt gnawed relentlessly. Every juror expression became a puzzle, every movement an accusation. Even subtle shifts, a cough, a pencil dropping, felt magnified. He realized the trial was no longer just about facts. It was a performance under relentless scrutiny. Survival depended on control, composure, and the ability to withstand the weight of observation without faltering. The final moments of the testimony felt endless. Daniel Price paused, eyes flicking across the room, as though seeking approval. Alex held his breath, muscles tense, attempting to project steadiness despite the chaos swirling inside. The defense attorney whispered brief advice, words barely registering over the relentless clicking of cameras. Jurors exchanged subtle glances, each small gesture magnified in Alex's mind. The gallery was silent, anticipation hanging like fog. Every camera flash, every scribble of a note, every shuffling foot added weight to his chest. He tried to anchor himself, thinking of his life outside the courtroom, the morning sunlight, the small routines now distant and unreachable. A single misstep, a single misinterpreted glance could unravel everything. He straightened slightly, inhaling deliberately, forcing composure. In that suspended moment, he realized the trial was more than evidence. It was a theater of perception, where truth and deception collided in every heartbeat. And as Daniel concluded, a quiet tension held the room hostage, waiting for the next act, for the storm to intensify. The jury filed back into the courtroom, a quiet tension settling like dust over polished wood. Alex felt the weight of anticipation in every breath, muscles taut with anticipation. He scanned the jury, noting subtle shifts in posture, tiny exchanges of glances, the silent calculus of judgment. The prosecutor, Olivia Grant, leaned back in her chair, a faint smirk playing at her lips, her pen tapping lightly against the notepad. Alex's attorney, William Drake, whispered a final reminder, voice low but urgent, "Stay calm. Let the evidence speak." Alex swallowed, trying to anchor himself against the storm of nerves rising from the witness testimony. The gallery watched silently, each person suspended in expectation, eyes glimmering with curiosity or quiet disapproval. The judge adjusted his robe, signaling readiness to proceed, a subtle reminder of authority over the proceedings. Alex's pulse throbbed in his temples as he tried to suppress thoughts of failure, replaying every detail, every word spoken in the trial. The moment was a knife edge, balancing fate, perception, and truth. Every breath, every glance, every tick of the clock seemed magnified, as though time itself conspired to test his resolve and patience under scrutiny. The foreperson of the jury stood, a solemn figure against the polished wood backdrop, holding a folded sheet of paper. Alex's heart raced, each second stretching impossibly long. He forced a controlled breath, trying to keep his hands from shaking. Olivia's eyes gleamed, sharp and calculated, her posture perfect, radiating confidence. William's hand briefly touched Alex's arm, a silent reminder to focus. The foreperson cleared her throat and began reading the verdict, her voice echoing in the room with a weight that made time crawl. Alex struggled to reconcile the words with reality, each phrase twisting in his mind as he sought hidden meanings or glimmers of mercy. The gallery leaned forward, collective tension making the air thick, palpable. Each juror's subtle reaction seemed magnified, a clue or threat in the delicate dance of perception. Alex closed his eyes for a heartbeat, summoning memories of preparation, of law books, of strategy sessions late into the night. He opened them again, fixed on the foreperson, forcing a steady gaze. Every syllable seemed suspended, every moment a decision point, every second a test of endurance and nerve under relentless scrutiny. The words echoed, suspended in air, and Alex felt a visceral shift. Relief, Tension and disbelief collided in an internal storm. The gallery exhaled in quiet murmurs, some faces softening, others rigid with judgment. Olivia's smirk faded into a neutral line, masking emotions as carefully as any strategy. William leaned back slightly, exhaling, eyes briefly closing, a small victory shared silently with Alex. The judge's gavel rested lightly in his hand, a subtle symbol of finality and order. Alex's knees ached from prolonged tension, shoulders heavy with unspoken weight. He processed the implications slowly, every muscle and nerve attuned to the reality unfolding. The jury began to file out, whispers and footsteps blending into a low hum. Alex focused on absorbing it all, letting each expression, each sound register fully. The tension ebbed slowly, like water retreating after a storm, leaving clarity in its wake. He realized the trial's crucible had forged a resilience he hadn't known he possessed. Every heartbeat felt louder, each breath steadier, as he finally allowed himself a small, controlled exhale. Alex rose slowly, each movement deliberate, grounding himself in the moment. The courtroom felt both smaller and larger simultaneously, as if reality had stretched to accommodate the intensity of emotion. William gestured subtly, indicating the path forward, while Olivia gathered her notes, composed but clearly processing the outcome. The gallery began to disperse, murmuring lowly, some faces softening, others indifferent. Alex's mind replayed the trial in flashes, the witness testimony, objections, cross-examinations, every strategic move made under pressure. Gratitude mingled with exhaustion, an unspoken acknowledgement of the endurance required to reach this moment. The judge watched the room settle, a silent sentinel maintaining order as the aftermath unfolded. Alex's heartbeat slowed, each breath a small victory over anxiety. The sun had shifted, casting long shadows across the polished floors, a quiet reminder that time moved inexorably forward. Every step Alex took toward the exit felt measured, a ritual of reflection and careful composure, grounding himself in both relief and responsibility. Alex reached the exit, the heavy wooden door looming like a portal to the world beyond the courtroom. He paused, hand on the polished handle, allowing the reality of the trial to settle into his mind. Every step forward was deliberate, a conscious act of reclaiming agency after hours of scrutiny and tension. William followed closely, offering a supportive glance, silent but powerful. Olivia lingered momentarily, eyes meeting Alex with a professional acknowledgement of the battle fought and the outcome rendered. Outside, sunlight spilled generously over the steps, warm and liberating. Alex inhaled deeply, the air tasting like freedom mixed with relief. Every muscle slowly unwound from the tension of the past hours, and a quiet gratitude filled the spaces between each breath. He knew the journey wasn't over, but this moment marked a turning point, a confirmation of endurance, strategy, and resilience. With measured steps, he descended into the world beyond the courtroom, carrying both the weight of experience and the light of accomplishment. Alex stepped into the courthouse lobby, relief settling in his chest. Sunlight streamed through tall windows, illuminating polished marble floors. He noticed familiar faces among the crowd, whispers of curiosity and admiration mixing with soft footsteps. William walked beside him, nodding subtly, pride in his eyes. Outside, life moved steadily, indifferent to the trial's intensity. Alex felt the tension ease, every breath lighter, hope expanding quietly. Alex stepped outside onto the courthouse steps, sunlight washing over him, warmth in every beam. He inhaled the fresh air, feeling freedom like a tangible pulse in his chest. William's hand rested briefly on his shoulder, silent reassurance. Faces in the crowd turned toward him, some nodding in quiet recognition. The city's hum returned, distant traffic, footsteps, laughter, life beyond judgment. He felt grounded, resilient, ready for the path ahead. Alex paused at the edge of the plaza, watching people pass by, children laughing, vendors calling out, the city alive. He realized the trial had changed him, forged focus and patience. Memories of tension and fear lingered faintly, but now they were lessons, not burdens. William stood beside him, observing quietly. Alex felt a new determination, a quiet strength, as if the world held more possibilities than he had imagined before this trial. Alex walked toward the park across the street, each step measured, deliberate. He breathed deeply, absorbing sounds, scents, and light. William followed silently, a quiet anchor of support. Alex's mind wandered briefly to future challenges, but excitement replaced fear. The trial was over, and life awaited with open possibilities. For the first time in weeks, he felt unhurried, empowered by endurance and clarity, ready to navigate whatever came next. Alex paused under a large oak tree, sunlight filtering through leaves, creating dancing patterns on the ground. He smiled faintly, a sense of accomplishment and peace settling in. William stood beside him, nodding. The city's distant hum seemed gentler, life welcoming rather than challenging. Alex realized the trial's lessons were now his strength. With one final breath, he stepped forward, ready to embrace life fully, each step confident and free. Alex stepped onto the rooftop at sunset. The city sprawled beneath him in a golden haze. Every edge and shadow seemed sharper, every sound distant yet clear. He reflected on the journey, the trial, the doubts, the fear, and felt the weight of transformation pressing lightly on his shoulders. William leaned against the railing, calm, observing the horizon. Together, they shared a moment of quiet triumph. The air smelled of warmth and possibility, carrying the promise of tomorrow into every heartbeat. The wind carried a crisp edge as Alex took a step closer to the rooftop's edge, feeling freedom pulse through him. Memories of tension and fear flickered, but they no longer held power. He glanced at William, whose steady presence reminded him of loyalty and trust. Light bounced off glass towers, painting reflections on their faces. The city's hum, distant but present, reminded Alex that life moved forward, and so must he. A smile tugged at his lips. Hope, clarity, and determination had become his companions. Alex turned to face the skyline fully, the setting sun igniting the horizon in deep amber and crimson. He raised his arms briefly, as if embracing every lesson, every challenge overcome. William mirrored the gesture, a silent acknowledgement of shared endurance. Clouds streaked the sky like brushstrokes, wind carrying whispers of possibility. Alex felt an exhilarating sense of liberation, a certainty that the past no longer dictated his future. The city below shimmered with energy, echoing the rhythm of a life reclaimed. Alex leaned on the railing, breathing deeply, the sunset reflecting in his eyes. He thought of the journey, the fear, the endurance, the small victories that built his resilience. William stayed silently beside him, the unspoken bond stronger than words. Below, life continued, cars, footsteps, laughter, stories unfolding. Alex smiled knowingly. He was part of it now, grounded yet limitless. He understood that endings were only beginnings in disguise, and each step forward carried the weight of hope and wisdom. As darkness fell, the city glittered below like a living constellation. Alex took a final deep breath, feeling the pulse of life intertwining with his own. William clapped him on the shoulder, a gesture of shared victory. The wind tousled their hair, carrying scents of urban gardens and distant streets. Alex felt fully present, liberated from fear, guided by newfound clarity. Every light below mirrored a possibility, and he stepped back from the edge, ready to descend into the vibrant city, embracing the journey that awaited with unshakable courage. Alex walked through the city streets as night fully descended, the neon signs casting vibrant reflections on wet pavement. Every step felt deliberate, grounded in awareness. William followed silently, their footsteps in rhythm, blending with the urban hum. Memories of past struggles surfaced, but they no longer carried fear. They were lessons shaping him. Faces passed in the crowd, brief glimpses of stories unknown, and Alex realized life was a tapestry of countless possibilities. A sense of purpose filled his chest, and the air felt electric with opportunity. The duo reached a quiet plaza, where the city lights faded into gentle amber street lamps. Alex paused, feeling the contrast between chaos and calm. William looked at him knowingly, silent affirmation of shared victories. Sounds of distant traffic mixed with a lone street musician's melody, weaving a rhythm of reflection. Alex breathed deeply, recognizing how far he had come. The transformation etched in his posture and gaze. Hope no longer flickered, it burned steadily, illuminating paths forward. The night wrapped them in serenity, a promise that every ending birthed a beginning. Alex approached a small fountain in the plaza, water glimmering under amber light. He extended his hand, letting droplets trace his fingers, a symbol of clarity and renewal. William observed quietly, a slight nod acknowledging the moment's significance. The city's distant hum now felt harmonious, synchronized with the rhythm of his heart. Each ripple mirrored possibilities, each reflection whispered new beginnings. Alex felt a gentle awe. A life once chaotic now held pattern, beauty, and potential. The night seemed alive with opportunity, every sound and light a note in the symphony of renewal. Alex turned toward a distant skyline, skyscrapers shimmering against the night sky. William joined him, a quiet presence reinforcing resilience. The city felt expansive yet intimate, a web of opportunities ready to be explored. Every challenge that had tested him now felt like stepping stones laid purposefully. The air was crisp, carrying scents of coffee, rain, and distant trees. Alex raised his chin, absorbing the panorama, feeling a profound sense of agency. He understood that life's unpredictability was not a threat, but an invitation to grow and embrace each unfolding chapter with courage and curiosity. As they walked back through the quiet streets, Alex felt a rhythm in his steps, a harmony with the city and life itself. William's presence remained steady, a constant reassurance that he was not alone. Street lights cast gentle halos, shadows mingled softly, and the city whispered stories of hope, struggle, and renewal. Alex understood that endings were merely thresholds, each step forward a commitment to growth. He embraced the uncertainty with grace, knowing that the journey was ongoing, every moment rich with potential. The night enveloped them, serene yet full of possibility, guiding them toward an unseen horizon with confidence. The first rays of dawn stretched across the city skyline, painting skyscrapers in hues of gold and rose. Alex inhaled deeply, the crisp air filling him with anticipation. William stood beside him, a reassuring presence, as both silently acknowledged the journey behind them. Memories of obstacles, fleeting victories, and hard-won lessons merged into a tapestry of resilience. The streets below were slowly coming alive, people moving with purpose, unaware of the quiet triumph unfolding above. Alex felt the weight of responsibility balanced with hope. He understood that the future was a canvas, each choice a stroke of color. This moment was a reminder that legacy was not measured in accolades but in courage, compassion, and the lives touched along the way. Descending the steps toward the bustling streets, Alex felt a renewed connection with the pulse of the city. Each passerby seemed to carry stories of resilience, echoing his own journey. William followed, silently observing, his presence a grounding force. Alex paused at a street corner, the aroma of fresh bread and coffee mixing with the urban hum. A reminder of life's simple joys. Challenges were no longer daunting specters, they were reminders of growth, fortifying his resolve. He smiled subtly, understanding that courage and kindness were the currency of meaningful lives. The city's rhythm intertwined with his own heartbeat, forming a cadence of purpose, possibility, and enduring optimism, each step a testament to his evolution. Alex entered a sunlit park, children laughing in the distance, the scent of blooming flowers mingling with morning dew. William stayed near the edge, eyes scanning surroundings, calm yet attentive. Alex paused by a bench, tracing the engraved names of past benefactors, mentors and friends whose guidance had shaped him. Every lesson and every setback had led to this moment of clarity. The park was alive with possibility, squirrels darting across paths, leaves rustling, and distant fountains reflecting sunlight like tiny diamonds. He felt connected to something larger than himself, a legacy of courage, compassion, and perseverance. Every choice now carried intention, each step forward deliberate, marking the culmination of his personal and professional journey. A gentle breeze carried the scent of coffee from a nearby cafe. As Alex and William paused at a fountain, the water danced and sparkled, reflecting the morning light. Alex observed the intricate patterns of ripples, marveling at how small actions could create lasting effects. William's gaze lingered on him, silently communicating pride and shared understanding. Conversations, laughter, and the city's rhythm formed a symphony of life surrounding them. Alex felt a profound sense of fulfillment. Every choice, every struggle, every triumph had built him into someone ready to embrace legacy with humility. The morning shimmered with opportunity, each moment a promise to live intentionally and with purpose. As the sun rose fully, painting the city in vibrant gold and amber, Alex and William walked side by side, the sounds of the city harmonizing with their steps. Alex felt a serene certainty. The journey was ongoing, but the foundation was strong. He glanced at William, gratitude reflected in his eyes for guidance, support, and unwavering belief. People passed, each absorbed in their own stories, and Alex realized life's beauty lay in shared moments and quiet victories. Every street, every cafe, every park held memories and lessons waiting to inspire. He stepped forward with purpose, aware that the legacy he built was not in grandeur, but in resilience, compassion, and connection. The horizon ahead shimmered with infinite possibilities, each step a promise to live fully.